Draymond, I'm curious your take on why you think the starting lineup just hasn't really worked that well yet.
Um, I don't know. I think we gotta. If I play better, that lineup will play better.
Do you think that there's potentially like kind of some spacing issues? Obviously, Kelly's struggling with his shot. That would help if he was hitting some, but is that a problem?
Oh yeah, making shots always helps. Everything. Um, but yeah, I mean, we'll see. I don't. Guys will shoot better. It is what it is.
Steve was kind of talking about the leadership from you and Steph and how important that is this year. How important is just the friendship that you guys have kind of forged over the years this season and trying to lead this young group?
It's very important. We just having an incredible amount of trust in each other. We kind of go about leading in two different ways, which I think is actually great. At times it can kind of be a good cop, bad cop. Yeah, I mean, our relationship, our experiences together would definitely help us, continue to lead this team better and better.
What do you think about where people are in their learning, I suppose? Like you and Steph have been together for nearly a decade, or you've got Wiseman coming in with 3 college games and now 9 NBA games, but you also have Wiggins and Oubre who have been around the league, but they're new to the team. And all of you guys have to come together as this melting pot of experiences. How do you all learn together?
Oh, yeah, I mean, as we play more and more together, we'll start to figure more things out. The more James plays, the more comfortable he'll get. Steph and I are kind of always on the same page. But that's just, like you said, almost a decade of playing together. Like, we know kind of where each other is going to be or what we're looking for. And so, it'll take a while for those guys to catch up to speed, and that's okay. That's to be expected. It took Kevin Durant a while to catch up to speed, and he's one of the greatest players ever. So, it'll take a little bit, but as long as we continue to defend the way we've been defending over the last week and a half or so, we can give ourselves time for that to catch up just by erasing a lot of mistakes on the defensive end and creating offense off our defense.
Hi, Draymond. Janie
Hello.
McCauley from AP. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Thank you. Draymond, Steve Kerr just said that they would consider signing Barbosa to a 10-day contract if you guys need him at some point. I mean, what has he meant to all of you and just still seeing him around and would you like to have him back on the court if it comes to that at some point? How much fun would it be to play with him?
A lot of fun. We won a championship together, so that bond is always there. He still looks great, still super fast. He plays, pretty much whenever there's some type of scrimmage going on, he usually plays, and, he's in good shape. But just having his presence around has been amazing. Always bring good energy, brings a different perspective. As a player who just now finishing, to kind of have that experience that he has, just back around, and kind of pointing out the things that he sees. It definitely makes a difference, and it's been great having him back for sure.
And Draymond, along the lines of what Kareth asked, what's the balance like, at this stage of the season where you have so many games and working in the new guys to learn, but also realizing that your bodies are going through a lot right now in this stretch and knowing when to rest and not push it at practice, just to sort of a balancing act.
Yeah, it's just something that we have to figure out, whereas today will probably be a day that most of us would have taken off, Steph and I and Bays and all of us were out there practicing because, we understand the continuity that needs to be built, and especially on the offensive end. And so just kind of picking and choosing, you never don't want to put yourself in harm's way. but yet, getting out there for a practice that's about 50 to 60% speed isn't really killing anybody. So it was good. But, finding that balance is important. Earlier in the week, we did take a day. Today, kind of figure it out and, get out there at half speed and, just get some repetition in. So it's definitely something that we'll continue to figure out and work through, but it's not really rocket science. If you feel good enough to get out there, get out there. If you don't.
Draymond, I'm processing your answer about how good defensive principles can buy time for everything else to come along. And I was wondering, do you wish defense was seen like in a sexier way, that like being in good position or just staying vertical, that's just as important potentially as hitting a splashy three, but it's the three that ends up on a highlight reel?
Well, that would require people to know the game of basketball, and most people don't. And so, wishful thinking, but most people will never learn the game of basketball. So, they think they know, but yet don't have a clue. So, it is what it is. I enjoy being one of the not so many people that actually know the game and being in that rare category of people who really know what's going on in the game of basketball as opposed to watching and think they can dissect it because they realize who hit a shot. It's fine.
Hi, Draymond. Carlos Ramirez, NBC Bay Area. After 2 baseball series now in your back pocket, what are the pros and cons of that format for you?
Losing, being pissed off that you got your ass kicked, and then finding a way to win the next one. We haven't been on the front end of that yet where we won the first one, so I'll have to report back to you when that happens and then let you know how the second game goes. But right now it's been pretty good to us.
Draymond, Patrick Murray, Forbes Sports. Just wondering, you've been back at home now for Chase Center for a few games. Have the kind of addition of virtual fans, has that helped in generate some kind of home court advantage, or is it still just a pretty weird situation to be playing like this?
It's pretty weird. To be honest with you, it sucks if you want my honest opinion. Not having fans there. I'll also give you another very honest answer. I have not noticed any virtual fans. Unless I'm like walking to the bench and that big ass screen is like right there behind the bench and I'm just looking that direction. But when you're playing the game, you don't notice fans on the screen. You just don't. There's times where you're playing the game and you don't notice fans in the arena. And so let alone noticing the screen. So yeah, it sucks. It sucks. I think everyone has done a great job of trying to simulate it and make it feel as real as they possibly can. But it sucks.
I wanted to go back to what you said about people not really knowing or understanding the game of basketball. How would you go about teaching them?
Well, first off, in order to learn, you have to understand what you don't know. And most people don't understand that they don't know shit, so they're just fucked. And that's just what it'll be. It's like a drug addict. The first step to rehab is admitting that you're a drug addict. And so when you have all these internet sensations thinking they know the game of basketball, they would then have to admit that they don't know basketball. And no one's going to do that. So, yeah, they're pretty much just.
What do you think about Wiseman the last couple games? It was one of his first games against that level of a team. Where do you think he struggled? What do you think he learned?
I think he gets too frustrated with himself. And he gets so frustrated that he kind of takes himself out of his game right now. And so, like I told him, I probably had one of the worst games of my career last night. But down the stretch, I was able to make a couple plays because you have to be able to forget what happened earlier in the game or sometimes even a possession before. You have to be able to forget and move on and try to make a play for your team, to give your team an advantage. And so, he's 19. All of those things he'll figure out. I think, that was also his first game and playing a big like Serge that just always spaced and kind of finding the pocket. Serge, in year 12 or something, 13, maybe 14, or whatever year he's in. I mean, he's just much more savvy than him. And so, if anything, he just got out-savvied. And that's going to happen. You got savvy veterans who's always looking to take advantage of a rookie, especially someone who is playing the, getting the minutes that Wise is getting. But nonetheless, he'll figure it out. He's still, like you said, he's 12 games removed from high school basketball. I mean, I know a lot of guys that came out of high school and 12 games removed wasn't as good as Wise is playing now, so he'll be fine. All right, y'all have a great one.